This program is brought to you by the Genesis Communications Network, a world leader in talk radio since 1998. Visit GCNlive.com today.
Broadcasting and streaming live all across America. This is Home Talk USA with Michael King, where we will discuss topics pertaining to your home with industry-leading experts. Michael King is a licensed general contractor with more than 30 years of experience in home improvements and the author of Contracting with the King. Join us this hour for our segment Invent America with your co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton. Discover what's next in the home improvement industry and explore new products and innovations. Or if you have that next great big idea, learn what it takes to bring your invention to the world as Michael King and Rita Crompton talk to America's inventors and innovators. Remember, the America of tomorrow is being invented today. We invite you to visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, we proudly present Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor, Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
All right, welcome, America. That's right. Welcome to Home Talk USA right here on the Genesis Communication Radio Network at GCNlive.com. This is the Invent America show, part of the Home Talk USA family, where we talk about basically the products of the future here on this show, and the young developers and manufacturers and entrepreneurs and that's trying to bring these products to market. Hey, we're just trying to help them. And I'd like to welcome my co-host, the Inventor Lady herself, Miss Rita Crompton. Hey, Rita, how been your week?
It's still Monday. It's just getting started. So, the week that leads up to, our show on Saturday are always so busy. It just amazes me how fast, the Saturday rolls around for the show, and we're busy, Monday through Friday getting it lined up, which is really exciting because, we've got so many different topics and inventors out there who listen to the show, and they're able to go back and look in our archives and say, okay, I need this topic now. And what we're providing to them is exactly what they need, is good information when they need it, and it's free.
And not only it's free, but you break it down so eloquently. It's like it's this big puzzle. You have all these pieces all over the place. It's confusing. Some of the pieces look the same. It takes a long time to try to put it into the puzzle. But at the end of the day, you got to sit back, take all your pieces, and then eventually, if you listen to this show, then you can start putting these pieces of the puzzle to make the puzzle make sense and be completed. And what I mean by completed is, hey, it's ready to go to market. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to do an analogy here.
Every time I talk to someone, they give me an idea for another show. Because they're sharing then the challenges that they've had. And so between our inventors who, have solved problems, we're able to help the new inventors, and then our service providers, our sponsors, they tell us what they need and what they're looking for. And it's a wonderful combination of, information that we are able to provide to all of the inventors out there who haven't taken the first step or in the early stages. And it's great because the experienced inventors help the new inventors. So we're able to just, get the information out there to them. And it's hard. It's a hard path.
Well, what I want to do next week, write this down. What I want to do next week is in the first segment where we talk about the show, the upcoming show, what I wanted you to take a time for our sponsors of Invent America, and I want to give them a big shout-out next week. And let's explain to our audience next week about our sponsors and the products that they offer. Let's do that next week, okay?
Okay. All right. That sounds good. We've got some great sponsors, so I'm sure that they will appreciate that. Stand up and hurrah.
Yeah, I want to do that next week. But, hey, tell us about the show this week, though.
Well, the show today, we had a gentleman, one of our friends from the North, had said that, I filed a patent in the U.S. He filed in Canada and he filed in the U.S. And so we were talking then, some about the strategies of, why you file internationally in different countries. So, I thought it would be a really good time for us to talk about, those strategies, because there's a couple of things that will encourage someone to copy your invention. One is that you can't fill orders, and the other one is you can't fill the orders at a price the consumer is willing to pay for them. So it gives someone incentive to, infringe on your patent. But there's strategies that go into that make it more of an issue that you look at, say, all right, so this gentleman, he knows that the U.S. is going to be his major market, even though he lives in Canada, so he filed here. Some people say, well, I know I'm going to be manufacturing in Mexico, so I'm going to file there. You don't file in every country, but you look at the strategy of why you're filing in different places. And years ago, I had two gentlemen. They were partners. They filed in the U.S. because that's where they lived, and they filed in the EU. Spain became their major country of selling. They packed up their families and moved. But if they hadn't filed internationally, they would have lost that opportunity.
Wow, I didn't realize that. That can happen. Huh? Wow. Yeah,
very, very interesting. And sometimes by the time an inventor gets to the point of, well, I filed my non-provisional in the U.S., and they're talking to their attorney, and their attorney says, oh, billable time. If you file internationally, it's going to be tens of thousands of dollars. That's not exactly true. What they see is billable time. And, if you're being frugal, there are certainly better ways to deal with that.
Yeah, that's a real good point. Real good point.
And so today we are going to be talking to our friend from the North, Daniel Chiriac. He has got a very cool product. And then we're going to be talking to Tim Hullet. He's U.S.-based, but his product is going to have major applications internationally. So he filed internationally. And then we've got one of our registered patent attorneys who's going to be on, who's going to be talking about, some of those strategies and why you would file, say, not worry about it, or you say, no, I think I need to at least consider it. It's one thing if I tell an inventor, it's like I was talking to another lady, it's like, have you filed internationally? And she said no, and I go, there's a time frame. It's one thing for them to say, I've considered it and I decided no, or it's like, are you kidding me? I missed it 2 months ago.
And you're right. The copyright laws, patent laws are different internationally than what they are in the United States. So you need to check your international domicile to find out what is the law. And that's why you listen to this show, right?
That's right. That is right. It's like in the U.S., if you miss a filing date, you can generally pay enough money to buy your way out of it with the USPTO. The international dates are firm. They are written in stone. You cannot buy your way out of it. And so for a lot of inventors, they don't realize that if they miss that date and they didn't know about it, they may have made different business decisions if they had known about it.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's what we look at, is giving them the information so that they can make the business decision that's best for them.
Well,
and
Rita,
it's different for everybody.
Well, we got to pay some bills, Rita, and you know what that's about now, right?
I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah, you was a guest for years, and you're actually putting this show together, so now you realize that, wow, it's a little bit more in detail. Try to put one of these radio shows together and come up with a weekly content. But, hey, stay tuned right here. We're going to be right back with our first guest, first topic, along with the Inventor Lady herself, my sidekick. This is the Invent America Show on the HomeTalkUSA Radio Network. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Talk USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Yeah, welcome back. That's right. This is the Invent America show, part of the Home Talk USA radio network. Rita, I tell you, we got a jam-packed show, and let's just get right into it. Who's our first guest?
Our first guest today is Daniel. And Daniel, if I say this wrong, I am really sorry, Chiriac. He is the inventor of Expandy. And Daniel lives in Canada. He is one of our friends to the north. Experience in aerospace and medical devices, has several different products out there, everything from hand tools and motorcycle accessories to his newest one, which is a space-saving piece of furniture. So, Daniel, thank you so much for being with us today. And, one of the things that we're talking about is, you live in Canada, you filed there, but you also filed in the U.S. So tell everybody what Expandy is, because it's very cool. And then I'll ask you some more questions.
Yes, hi, Rita. Thanks for having me. Yes, I'm in Canada, and I have many ideas, but this is the closest that I've been to bring it to the market. It's a new space-saving idea that transforms an armchair into a love seat and then into a sofa. And everything is contained inside. So, can you hear me?
For our audience listener, it's like a dining room table that expands, and you add, in this case, it expands out, and you would have to add the pieces to it. But yours is all self-contained, which is really amazing.
Yes, I was frustrated by the space taken by the sofa, but I saw that there is a lot of space inside the sofa. So I actually designed all the mechanisms and the storage space to have everything included inside. So you don't need extra storage space. You have everything in the armchair. You don't need any tools, and it takes 30 seconds to actually expand or retract.
That is amazing. We can't wait to see it. So you live in Canada, you filed there, but you also filed in the U.S. Explain to our listeners, because this is what we're trying to share, is that value of the international filings. Why did you file in the U.S.?
Yes. So first, U.S. is the biggest market, especially for furniture, and the patent protects your idea in the country where the patent is granted. So in order to protect my idea in the United States, I had to file a patent for the United States. But I also apply in Canada, and I'm patent pending in Europe, especially because the functionalities that I designed, it's made for small spaces, for condos, for tiny homes, for kids' room, everywhere where you need space, but also comfortable sitting.
Right. It makes a difference. And when you think about all the different places where you could use something like that, you've got a hospital room now where someone's sitting there, but they decide that, their loved one is going to be, admitted to the hospital. So now that they can expand it, they can actually sleep on the sofa.
Yes. So this is just the first product, and I have a manufacturing in Europe with great quality. We are going to show it to High Point Market in the States October 14 to 18. But it's this is first product. I'm looking also to expand to multiple products that use this functionality, because there is nothing like that from what I've seen. You have a sofa that transforms into a bed, but I don't have guests that sleep overnight. I want to have friends to have a chat on an evening, to watch a game. So this actually gives me the comfortable sitting that I need, and then I can have my space back in 30 seconds. The guests don't even reach the car, and then I have the space back.
Yeah, I mean, that makes so much sense. If you're in an office and now all of a sudden you've got 3 people show up for a meeting, you can expand the seating space. If you're in a college room or, like you said, a tiny home, there's a lot of places that you would be able to use this expandable furniture. And it makes so much sense, especially where, we've got so many living spaces now that are condensing and getting smaller. So what is your next step? You said you're going to a show. What show are you going to, and where is it?
It's High Point Market Show. It's, I think, the capital of furniture. It's my first time being there, and I'm very excited because this is totally not my specialty, furniture, but I'll be there to present my idea with the manufacturer. It's Istiqbal. It's a Turkish company, one of the biggest manufacturers in Europe. And then we're going to present it and bring it to the market. So we are looking to retailers that are interested in this to actually place some orders and bring it to people that they need this, because we need to show that there is a new option. This option doesn't exist. It's totally new.
So is your goal then to set up manufacturing yourself, or is it to license it to one of the existing furniture companies?
Well, I have multiple ways. I'm actually looking to bring it to as many people as possible, and this could be licensing. This is manufacturing, because I have a manufacturer that actually made this prototype, and it's ready for production right now. So they're ready to take orders and bring it to people.
Excellent. I think it's wonderful that, you've got a variety of experiences. Not every inventor does. And so for them, I need to license this because I can't really go into the startup mode of manufacturing myself. You've got a good, broad experience. And so tell our inventors a little bit about, some of the experience that you've had.
Well, I started with this idea for furniture in 2015, and it wasn't easy. I didn't have any contact. I didn't have any knowledge. I had zero experience in furniture, but I had this crazy idea of, hey, I can take this and expand it. So I built a prototype in my garage. I had a company interested in, and they built, but they couldn't sell it because it's something so new that some people were afraid that they cannot sell it because nobody knows about it. And then I had a company in California that licensed this idea, but they couldn't bring it to the market because they couldn't market it well. So
Daniel,
I'm trying to
Yes, well, you hear the music going. We have got to go and pay some bills and thank our Genesis Communication Network so much.
Great.
So, Daniel, thank you, and we will get pictures of your product up there. Thank you.
Yes. So the website is Expandy with an I furniture.
Okay. Thank you.
HomeTalkUSA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like HomeTalk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. And if you would like to see what is going on, please follow us on inventamerica.info. If you have a particular question, you can find all of our topics listed on inventamerica.info, or you can go to inventorlady.com and click over to the radio show. Today we're talking about international filings. Our next guest is Tim Hullet. He is the inventor of Illumiladder. Tim was with us at the trade show last year, and this was just an amazing product. Everybody was real excited to see it, and Tim works in his field of expertise. Tim, thank you so much for being on with us today. Please tell everybody about Illumiladder.
Well, it was a product that was needed in the construction industry mainly. We ended up in places when the first part of the construction was going on where there wasn't enough lighting, and we were trying to set up lights and fight for cords to put lights up, and it was out of need because I tried to find one to buy, and we would put stuff on tripods and everything else trying to get lighting in there, and we just ended up coming up with this ladder and putting strip lighting on it and use a cordless tool battery to supply the power to it. That way you're not dealing with plug-ins and dragging cords around through. Sometimes there's water on the floor and different things, and it's just dangerous. And we came up with this out of basically a need for it. And that's kind of
definitely one of those examples of necessity is the mother of invention.
Exactly. Yeah.
No kidding. So, well, you have filed actually patents in several different countries. Tell us where you have filed, and then explain to us the why and strategy really going behind that.
We initially were working with a ladder company that had overseas sales, and they encouraged us to do it. We had a contract with them for a short period of time. It was just a letter of intent. So we ended up filing patents in Europe and Mexico and Canada. We got the Canadian patent early on, and the U.S. patent was the first one we got, and then Canada, and we filed in Mexico, and it just came through in the last 6 months because of different things, COVID and things that happened then. And we ended up in Europe with a patent attorney over there in London, and you have to pick the countries you want to be in and pay their fee. So we ended up in 4 different countries over there, but it's actually a European patent. So that's kind of the backstory on that.
And so, you know, you've got patents now filed in multiple countries. You are going, you know, what are your next steps? What are you looking to do? How are you going to use those patents and make them pay for themselves?
Well, we're going to try to get it launched here this month in the U.S., and then we're going to try to contact some overseas places to get it put over there after we see the response here. And we really haven't figured out exactly which way we're going to go with that. I had a company contact us a couple years ago over in England, and they were wanting to market it for us over there, and I still have their contact information, so that's probably the direction we'll go in that area. But Mexico's kind of the trade area, you know, it kind of commingles with the U.S., and so does Canada. And there's a company in Canada I'm in contact with that they told us they would put it in their online sales, so we're going to try to contact them. We're basically going to try to get it launched here, and then we're going to work our way through that.
All right. Well, you've got, you know, you had a day job starting this to, you know, kind of because you had a necessity and you filled it by inventing Illumiladder. But now, you know, manufacturing and being startup, that's kind of a full-time job too. How do you balance, you know, your existing business with basically a new business?
It's challenging, I can tell you. It really is, because I ran a company. I actually had a plumbing company, and I turned it over to my son, and I still help him. But I I'm still involved in it pretty heavily, but it's a challenge. You just got a lot of long hours, and you got to keep pushing. And there's a lot of hurdles in this trying to get it to market, but that's you just don't give up. You just keep pushing along. I was at a show in Louisville several years ago, and I had a guy said, "Never give up." He said, "Because it'll hit eventually," and that's what you have to do. You just keep pushing.
Well, we always say it's like, all right, well, if you're going to be a startup, you've got to be an expert in business. Well, you were running a business, so you certainly have experience in the business part of it. You've got to be an expert in manufacturing. And so, yes, you were in construction, so you kind of know how to build something. But then you've got to be an expert in the marketing part of it, and all of those are full-time jobs.
Yeah, yes, the marketing's the trick. That's for me, it is anyway. I didn't know much about. You can market a company, but usually that's on, your word of mouth, or you got, people saying use that company or whatever. It's not like marketing a product. That's a whole different game.
It is. And, when you're marketing locally and people are, using your services, like you said, that's one thing. But now when you're marketing a product that could sell all over the world, that is a whole new challenge.
Yes, it is. It is, definitely.
So, well, if you would like to take a look at Illumiladder, the website is www.illumiladder.com, and we will make sure that gets posted on our website so that you would be able to go and find it. This is a wonderful product. It's like, wow, I wish I would have thought of that type of product. So, Tim, thank you so much for being with us today. We are very grateful, and we are looking forward to seeing Illumiladder out there and in everyone's wheelhouse for use in those dark places. So if you've got a product and you're trying to figure out what to do, follow us and go to the website. You can find out who our sponsors are and what is your next step in the inventing process. Stay with us. We will be right back with our next guest.
USA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country, Home Talk USA, with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being with us. We want to make sure that we thank our Genesis Communication Network for being our home. And if you have got any questions at all, reach out, let us know, because we have got experts who can answer the questions for you if I can't. And today we are talking about international patent filings. The question comes up on a pretty regular basis. Don Satina is our guest. He is a registered patent attorney, and the clients I know who have worked with him have really enjoyed it and appreciated his expertise. So, Don, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on, Rita.
All right. So, filing internationally, believe it or not, I actually had a client this morning I was talking to, and I said, have you filed anything internationally? And she said, I didn't even know I could. So tell our listeners, all right, why would an inventor want to file a PCT, and what is a PCT?
Okay, first, I want to remind your listeners that whether your first application is for a U.S. provisional or a U.S. utility patent, that corresponding foreign patent applications must be filed within 12 months from the date of that first filing, which is called the priority date. and whether to file foreign applications and how to file them depends primarily on where you expect to sell the invention. If you're only planning to sell it in the U.S., your U.S. patent will protect you from copiers, including those importing your invention. If you expect to have significant foreign sales, you should determine on a country-by-country basis where you expect the sales to be enough to justify the cost of obtaining a patent. Now, for filing in one or two countries, direct national filing is usually preferred. However, the more countries you consider, the more sense it makes to file a PCT application, since the big costs like translations, government fees, and foreign agents' fees that you would experience with national filing can be deferred for up to 30 months from the priority date. And the PCT covers 157 countries where you can reserve your right to get a patent.
Yeah, the PCT, the Patent Cooperation Treaty, is almost like an international version of a provisional patent application because it gives you time. Just like the U.S. provisional patent application gives you 12 months to decide exactly what should go into the utility or the non-provisional, the PCT gives you some coverage, and then it gives you, like you said, the 30 months. I think in some countries it's even, 32 months. But I always figure 30 months, it's easier than trying to know specifically which country it is. Sometimes, if you know you're going to be filing or you're going to license it to file and they're going to manufacture it, sometimes filing in that country where it's going to be manufactured is a strategy. But that's, you never know for sure who's going to be the licensee or where you might be filing. So the PCT for some makes sense. And for others, if you just know that the EU is your other area, and like our first, guest this morning, it's like, he lives in Canada. The U.S. was his major market. So that's, his strategy on that. So, time and money are the big criteria on this, correct?
Yes.
All right. So what does an attorney need to file a PCT? What would you ask for? You as the attorney, what would you be asking for?
Well, PCT is not that different from a U.S. application. But once you've filed some form of a U.S. application, then that has to be adjusted to the PCT. And that means you have to change the claims so that any new features are pointed out using what they call characterized by language. And also, you probably have seen in foreign patents, they use reference numbers in the claims that refer to features that you can see in the drawings. And also another big change is just reformatting the text to the A4 paper size. And then the application is filed electronically. So it's really not so different than the U.S.
No, and it falls into, the parameters of kind of what I've explained to some of our inventors, what they're looking for and what an attorney might need to, get them to that next step if that's what they're considering. So it really just depends on, what they need and what they're looking for in their business strategy. So, Don, thank you so much for being with us today. We are always grateful for your time and your insight. I want to thank our sponsors. Kicker Design is one of our sponsors. They do wonderful manufacturing and design work for our inventors, and also CAD CAD Design with Scott Tarsi. So if you need some help, you need somebody to do that prototype for you, please give me a call, shoot me an email. We are grateful, and stick with us for a little bit longer, everyone.
HomeTalkUSA with Michael King. Do you have questions about your next home improvement project or home repairs? Now you can chat with verified home repair and home improvement experts in just minutes. Get the help you need by visiting HomeTalkUSA.com. One of the best resources for home improvement information around today. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like HomeTalk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com. And now, back to Invent America from the #1 home improvement radio program in the country. Home Talk USA with your host, the Cajun contractor Michael King, and his co-host, the Inventor Lady, Rita Crompton.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to let every inventor out there know, and every person who wants to be an inventor, because there's lots of you. If you've got any questions or you need some help, join us at the Inventor Roundtable meetings. They're kind of like our call-in version of the show. So you can ask questions, and sometimes talking to the inventor next to you is your best resource. Otherwise, you can go to the website and download the Inventor's Galaxy Guide, which is to take you through the different steps of the inventing process. And again, if you need really good service providers, we have them, whether it is Don Satina as a registered patent attorney, Scott Tarsi with CAD Design. He does great prototypes, early-stage prototypes for our inventors. And Kicker Design is one of our favorite sponsors. So thank you to everyone who makes this Invent America show America Inventors' go-to place for good information on getting a new product to market. So thank you, everyone, for your time, and let us know what your questions are. And if you want to be on the show, please fill out the form. It drops right into my email box, and we will get you on. Thank you very much, everyone.
Home Talk USA with Michael King is produced by Home Talk Media in association with King's Broadcasting Network and Genesis Communications Network. Broadcast and streamed live from the great state of Louisiana. Host and producer, the Cajun contractor, Michael King. Executive producer, Michael Mellinson. Affiliate and sponsor relations, Joe Spera. Comptroller, Sheila Gregoire. Assistant producer, Christian Bethencourt. Board operators provided by Genesis Communications Network. And I'm your announcer, Kevin McCarthy. Music includes King's Creole by Prolific Arts, Cajun Jam by StockMusic.com, and Zydeco City by Steve Rice. Home Talk USA with Michael King is sponsored by Bonide, pest solutions for your home, garden, and lawn. Decorators, take outdoor living beyond ordinary. Aztec Washer, innovative roofing solutions. Seal it right, seal it tight. Trimislab, replace rotten or missing wood with Trimislab expansion joint repair. Masonry Cosmetics, change the color of any porous masonry with proven masonry staining. Green Products Company, #1 in wood preservatives. Preserve, protect, and clean what you value, and most of all, make it last. Bond Products, manufacturers of InstaBind, the world's first do-it-yourself carpet binding solution. Deckrite, life is tough. Make your exterior flooring tougher. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Home Talk USA with Michael King. Until next time, visit us at HomeTalkUSA.com. Your best life begins with your best home, and there's no place like Home Talk. That's HomeTalkUSA.com.
Yay!